Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to more Bad Company 2. This time I'm playing some Rush. And Rush is the perfect game mode to try and explain a little bit about destruction and why it really matters when it comes down to Battlefield games. Now, Battlefield Bad Company was specifically designed for consoles to compete with Call of Duty. And then Bad Company 2, and then there was a port for the PC, and so on and so forth. We all know that story. Now, one of the most important things that you had in Bad Company was obviously the destruction. Destruction was solely done for it so you can lure players away from Call of Duty. I think Modern Warfare 2 was at that time, and this was specifically designed to lure players away. Now, obviously it's using the Frostbite engine, and Battlefield 4 is using the latest Frostbite engine, but one of the trends that I'm learning these days is it's less and less destruction. Oh snap, that nearly got me. It's less destruction, it's all that micro destruction and pages and stuff like that flying around, and office pencils, and it doesn't have any impact on the game. You know, that doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect the gameplay as it should do in Bad Company 2. I mean, Bad Company 2, you have specific maps, you have Cold War, you have Oasis, you have a lot of maps where you could completely level the whole map if you really choose to do so. You know, there's going to be a lot of cover, there's going to be a lot of MCOMs in particular buildings. If you can't really get to that building and your team's not letting you push up on the objective, and you don't have the best of teammates to go and actually take it, then get 3 Wookiees and start mortaring that objective, and it will take down the building. You know, the building will collapse on top of the MCOM, and that's it, done, you've got it. So not only that you can have the teamwork to take down that MCOM, you can also have the Wookiees, you know, putting up mortar on the building, and the building will collapse, and you've got it. Now, if you look at Battlefield 4 with the new Levolution and all that sort of stuff, I personally think the Levolution is kind of pointless. It doesn't really change anything. You know, it's not something that's going to benefit your team. Let's take Shanghai, for example. The Siege of Shanghai, you take down the tower, and then what? It's grey for everybody. Nobody's benefited from that, really, and you're just playing on a grey map. And I've always really hated that, because it just looks ugly. You know, it makes the map ugly. The Siege of Shanghai is possibly one of my favourite maps. I've got a couple, but one of my favourite maps in Battlefield 4, where the map looks really nice before the tower collapses. You know, there's going to be a lot more instances. You have the one on the dam where you literally just blow up that dam and nothing really happens. It's just a bit of debris around the dam, but it doesn't really affect the gameplay. You know, you still can travel almost on the same roads. You could do almost the same things as you do without that dam being sort of exploded. And I think that map is Lancam Dam? I think it's Lancam Dam. And it doesn't really change how the gameplay works. You know, in Bad Company 2, it works. Why? Because you can level whole building. If somebody's in there, if the MCOM's in there, you want to get yourself somewhere, you make a hole in there and you jump in. I mean, same thing in this map. If it's 2 buildings close to another and you want to jump from a building to another, you could do so. All you had to do is blow a hole up in the side of the building, and you can jump from one building to another, letting you flank your enemies more, letting you change the gameplay. You know how everything worked. If somebody, let's say, moved from Call of Duty to Battlefield, they would never really expect that, and even a lot of Battlefielders don't expect that. I'll grant you that now that you've played Battlefield for a while, you know what to expect, but early in those days when nobody really knew that that's possible to do, because in Call of Duty obviously you couldn't do that, but coming in and trying something like that and knowing, okay, well, he's in the next building, I'm safe here, I'll just camp the ladder or something, or the steps coming up, and then boom, you blew a hole in the door, in the wall, and you jumped in and you stabbed him or you killed him. You know, that's what made Battlefield the great game that it was, and that's why destruction really matters when it comes to a Battlefield game. Now, the other thing that really matters is the floppy C4 they keep bringing in. You know, bring back the regular C4 that we had in Bad Company. Why? You want to be using the C4 at the right time, at the right moment. You know, it has to come back the way it is. You know, you don't plop it on the floor and that's it, it's there. C4 in Bad Company 2, I think, was the best C4 there ever was, because you can throw it. It was throwable C4, and once you have that ability to throw C4, it's almost, to me, always felt like a little extension of your sort of gun. Because once you get yourself close to an enemy position, you know where everybody's at, then all you have to do is throw a couple of sticks of C4. I mean, if I don't remember it now because it's been a few years, but if I go back into it and sort of pay attention to it, I remember that if you put it right in the corners, and somebody will have to remind me in the comments exactly what it was. If you put the 4 or 5 C4s, because you can obviously lay 6 down, if you put them in the right corners, you would take the whole building down in one go. And that's what made it really cool. That's what made the C4 worth using. You know, at this time in Battlefield 4, you can probably still stick it up on the ceiling, but you'll have to be jumping and doing all sorts of stuff and making yourself a lot more vulnerable than you have to be. You know, it should be a quick movement, a seamless movement of you just dropping the C4, whatever needs to be, and that's it. Boom, you've gone. Now, one of the reasons I'm kind of getting worried about the new Frostbite engine is that it's all less and less and less destruction. Now, Battlefield Hardline, it's going to have Levolution. It's already been confirmed. We saw a little bit of it with the crane and with the screen shaking, and that was so real. It wasn't really. It was kind of pointless, and it didn't do anything. You know, I really hope instead of these sort of scripted events that anybody could trigger at one particular time, it'd be better to have more destruction that anybody can trigger when needed. Now, here's another interesting fact. Even though Battlefield has always been a PC game and that's what it shines, as of last month, I remember reading an article, and PS4 has more players playing Battlefield 4 than the PC. Now, that should tell you something if you're a dev, or if you're anybody involved with the Battlefield franchise. It should tell you something. That my game that started on the PC, it's not actually working on the PC anymore. Now, I grant you it's had a lot of issues, and latest patch has changed a lot of that, but I think it was just too late for it. You know, they could have waited a couple of more months and released it in March. I feel that if they released the game in March, maybe it would have been sort of going down a different path, and the game was a little bit better in March than we had it at launch. But that's all in the past now. The game got released, and we can only look forward to what's coming up next. And what's coming up next, obviously, is Battlefield Hardline. And I feel that's not going to be the next great Battlefield game. Obviously, it's not going to be anywhere near what Battlefield Bad Company 2 had to offer, but it's going to try and do something a little bit different, and hopefully that's going to work. You know, I personally enjoyed the beta. I think some of the things don't belong in the game, but hopefully they will take some of them out, and I heard it's a new and improved beta when it sort of hits us next year. Now, personally, I don't really have high hopes for Battlefield Hardline. I know it's going to be one of those games that people are going to play. Some people are going to love, some people are going to hate. I can't really judge it yet because I haven't played it, I haven't tested it myself, and once I do that, then I'll be making a video and telling you all about it. But as it is so far, it doesn't look like it's going to be the next great Battlefield game, because obviously everybody's waiting for Star Wars Battlefront, which releases in November next year, and you're looking for a game to sort of bridge that gap, and that's what Bad Company 2 did. Bad Company 2 came in March, and it bridged the gap until Battlefield 3 came out. Now, they never really expected Bad Company 2 to be such a huge success. And to be completely honest, I don't think they can top that. I think Bad Company 2 is always going to be remembered by everybody as a really good game, as something where you just go in and have a bit of fun with, and that's it. You know, in the new games, sometimes less is more. For me personally, I don't need to have 100 different camos. I've never really bothered changing camos on weapons, on vehicles, on myself or anything like that. So to me, it's a personal opinion, you shouldn't really bother about having that in because I'm never going to use it. But instead, worry about the little details. Worry about the destruction, worry about the gameplay, how it affects the teamwork, how it affects the flanking, how it affects the particular game modes, the different voiceovers, the little details, that little smiley face on the actual grenade. You know, the little details is what make your game a great game, and hopefully you'll take some of this on board and we'll see some other great games, because I've been playing this for nearly 15 years now, and I think it's fair to say that if I didn't have faith in the Battlefield franchise, fucking nobody did. And that's it for me for today. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, don't forget to post a comment. Also, let me know one of your fondest and coolest memories out of Battlefield Bad Company 2. Something that really made you say, yes, I love this game. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one. Out.